From WEEK, your home team, this is 25 News Today.
A very eventful day here in the newsroom, and alongside Gina, Morss, and Nick Jansen, I'm Garry Moore. Our top story this half hour, the developing story out of Canton. One person dead, 11 others injured after a gas explosion downtown. This is a live look near the downtown Canton Square where the blast took place.
It happened around 5:45 last evening along First Street. Ameren officials saying they were called in after a contractor had compromised a gas service line at 45 East Side Square, and that was about 5:30. They were making repairs to that line when the explosion took place. An Ameren worker was killed. You can see the devastation on the square there. His name has not been released.
And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of our fallen comrade, our fallen worker. The utility business is a close brotherhood, and our family is hurting right now. We express our deep sadness and our profound sympathies to the family.
Authorities tell us 7 people were treated and released from an area hospital. At last report, 3 others remain hospitalized. Their conditions are unknown. A 68-year-old man was taken by life flight to OSF St. Francis Medical Center, and at last report, he was listed in fair condition.
Now check out this security camera footage from inside a store in downtown Canton. This is what it looked like when the explosion happened. Windows blown out of surrounding businesses. Streets within a 2-block radius around the square, including that city square, shut down still this morning. Authorities say it will remain closed until further notice. We spoke to people who were near the scene when the explosion happened.
Just a massive rumble and a big boom, and just everything came crashing down at one time.
It sounded like a big truck maybe hitting something is what I initially thought, but then when we came running around up to the front of the house, we seen all the smoke coming, and that's when we come running up here and seen everything everywhere.
We came outside and you could see the smoke back here, and there was all kinds of debris. Everybody was just kind of stopping in the middle of the road.
Ameren, Illinois reports at least 500 people lost power when the explosion occurred. They expect that power should be restored sometime this morning. It is unclear how many residents are without natural gas this morning. The Salvation Army is being used as shelter for those affected. Those needing help are encouraged to contact the Red Kettle Salvation Army hotline for assistance. The Canton YMCA has been closed as a result of the explosion. And we would like to thank our viewers who sent us video and pictures from last night's explosion. All of those pictures can be found on our 25 News Facebook page and our website, cinewsnow.com. Again, to recap, an Ameren, Illinois worker is dead and 11 other people are injured after a natural gas explosion in downtown Canton.
7 of the injured were treated and released. 3 remain hospitalized in Canton this morning. A 68-year-old man taken by life flight to Peoria is in fair condition. And those looking for shelter, once again, can head to the Salvation Army on First Avenue in Canton.
And there is a footnote, an officer telling 25 News that structural surveys will take place today. However, they are alluding to the fact that some of those buildings may have to be torn down as a result of the explosion.
These are some historic buildings, very old buildings. Authorities asking the public to stay away from the area as the investigation into the blast continues. And we'll have updates throughout the morning and on our Facebook page and website as well. Now, the top weather story today, record-breaking temperature highs today and getting much cooler this weekend.
Yeah, potentially some record-breaking temperatures, at least this afternoon. We could see highs in those middle 70s. Temperatures as of right now, we are sitting right around 52 degrees, 48 in Bloomington normal. Now warming up into the 70s, we say thunderstorms tomorrow potentially, and then very chilly temperatures this weekend. All of those details coming up later.
In national news, second-degree manslaughter charges have been filed against a Minnesota police officer involved in the shooting death of a black motorist. You may remember the cell phone video that was streamed live on Facebook the day 32-year-old Philando Castile was shot to death during a traffic stop in July. Castile's girlfriend was in the car with him when St. Anthony police officer Geronimo Yanez stopped the vehicle for a broken taillight. A county prosecutor said Castile told the officer he had a handgun. However, he said there is no evidence Castile ever tried to remove the gun from his pocket and that the officer's use of deadly force was not justified.
The charges that was brought upon the officer, it's not what I wanted or expected, but we have to give credit where it's due, and he went above and beyond the prosecutor.
The officer is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow. A judge in Chicago has denied bail to a man accused of killing a toddler. 2-year-old Kyrian Knox's dismembered remains were found in a park lagoon last year. The suspect, 41-year-old Camille Harris, was charged Tuesday with first-degree murder, concealment of a homicidal death, and dismembering a human body. Police say the boy's mother had moved to Iowa and left the baby with Harris, who is a friend of the family. Police believe the child was crying, and that led Harris to commit the crime. Investigators recovered the boy's blood in the carpeting of the suspect's vehicle, and that's when the arrest was made.
U.S. Senator Dick Durbin has announced he will not run for governor of Illinois in 2018. Durbin made the announcement shortly after the Senate Democratic Caucus voted to retain Durbin as the Democratic whip. It's a role he's held since 2005. Durbin told the Chicago Tribune that his choice is to remain in the Senate after Donald Trump's victory. Many people telling Durbin, "We need you in Washington."
It's about 7 minutes past the hour. Still ahead on 25 News Today, we'll have a preview of this year's Festival of Lights Parade.
And Nick has a look at your first alert forecast coming up.
You're watching 25 News Today with Garry Moore, Gina Morss, and meteorologist Nick Jansen. 25 News is your home team.
Well, good morning and welcome back. Temperatures this afternoon are going to be the warmest that we'll probably see potentially the rest of 2016. So the rest of the year, this could be our warmest day. We're going to be start to see that sunrise come up here fairly soon. Partly cloudy skies early on this morning. Temperatures, though, are sitting fairly nice. We're right around 52 degrees as of right now, so very warm to start off this morning. Bloomington normal sitting at 48 degrees. As I said, those temperatures are only going to warm up into the 70s today, mainly because we'll see mostly sunny skies this afternoon. No, really not many clouds on futurecasts throughout your afternoon hours today. Now tonight, partly cloudy skies, mainly the mostly cloudy skies should stay off to our west here, and then start to creep in the early morning hours. Notice some light sprinkles at this time as well. Now futurecasts actually suggesting that these storms that we could potentially see tomorrow are not really developing until late on in the afternoon hours, and actually should stay off to our east. So here's 2 p.m. We starting to see that development down to our south, and we're seeing these showers and thunderstorms really start to develop well off to our east, so even east of the Champaign area. So we'll be continuing to track this at least throughout the next several hours and into tomorrow morning with the latest model runs to see exactly what we're going to be looking at. Now, this is the almost winter time of year, and this week is winter weather preparedness week, so we want to make sure you're prepared heading into the winter season at least. Now, we've been very lucky temperature-wise so far this year. They've been very mild through September, October, and November so far, but we're going to see some cold weather this weekend, and we want you to be prepared. So clothes, make sure to wear light, loose, and warm clothes. Layers are always key to that, and then make sure to cover the skin to avoid frostbite. Frostbite in some situations can really occur within 5 to 15 minutes, especially with wind chills reaching down to around -20 degrees. And we also suggest to make sure to stay dry. Water-resistant clothing is key. So looking at water-resistant coats, jackets, sweatshirts, gloves. Frostbite, a major concern during the winter months. Some of the warning signs you're looking at: cold skin, red, white, yellow skin, and then numbness, hyperthermia. Nothing to mess around with either. Some of those warning signs you're looking at: shivering, and then clumsiness during that. So make sure to warm a person slowly if they do show some of those warning signs of hypothermia. Now, we're not going to be affected by the first potential winter storm of the year, but the upper Midwest will into Minnesota. Already a blizzard watch issued for the western portion of Minnesota, the eastern portion of South Dakota near Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So a blizzard warning there, still a blizzard watch in effect for the northern counties there, and then a winter storm warning you see in pink there. So potential up to a foot of snow in central and western Minnesota. We're not going to be dealing with the snow. So the snow staying well off to our north of this low pressure system that's going to be setting up over northern Iowa. Well, we see the chances for some showers and thunderstorms. Now you saw in Futurecast, those showers and thunderstorms not developing until they're well past at least the state boundary line of Illinois and Indiana. We'll see exactly where this cold front sets up at with that moisture that we'll have down at the surface. So we'll continue to track the latest model runs as we head throughout your day today and then into tomorrow morning as well. 75 degrees for that high today, so very warm conditions. This afternoon, we're sitting in those middle to lower 50s tonight for overnight lows. Tomorrow, only going to be 62 degrees, so compared to today, it's going to be a little bit chillier, but we'll be really cooling things off down into the 40s this weekend. So 43 degrees on Saturday and then only 26 degrees for that low temperature Saturday night into Sunday morning. That does it for weather. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
And welcome back to 25 News Today. Very excited to have Doug McCarty in our studio. Yes. He is the East Peoria Festival of Lights chairman for the parade, and you're excited about this, aren't you?
Definitely. It's our 32nd year. Looking forward to it. All the final touches are being put together right now, and we're ready for Saturday.
32 years. It's hard to believe that the parade's been going on that long. Now, has the Winter Wonderland that accompanies it always been around too?
That started in 1993, so this is actually the not quite as long as the parade, but
okay.
Yeah.
But the parade kicks off even a little bit earlier than it used to. It used to be right after Thanksgiving, and now it happens right before it.
Yeah, traditionally it was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. A few years ago, we decided to move it up a week to kind of give some different types of people, if they were in town for Thanksgiving, the chance to see Winter Wonderland. A lot of people had never seen it if they were home for the holidays. We just wanted to try to get an extra week, and typically the weather's better the week before Thanksgiving, but
right.
Last couple of years it hasn't been the case.
We're looking at video of the floats. Tell us about the floats.
Well, the floats, as you can see in the pictures, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've completely renovated them to LED. It's been a big cost savings once we got to the park. It's a lot brighter. We've been able to add some features to the floats. We decided, instead of kind of building new ones, to take the old ones and redo them. So we've added some digital controller features, more movement. Kids like to see flashes and moving parts. So as you can see in the train there, and the wheels turn, and we just tried to add different parts to the floats to make them look more like they're going down the road.
And what's the route? What is the route? Where does it start? Where does it end up?
The route begins at the festival building on Washington Street, and then it goes down past the high school. When we get down to downtown, we'll turn at the Four Corners, basically where Hardee's and Beck's Florist is, and then go down to one more block and then turn right again where CVS is, and the floats stay there on Springfield Road until Monday, and then Monday morning we'll take them up to the park and we'll be ready for Winter Wonderland.
That's right, so that right after Thanksgiving, folks can take the drive through the Winter Wonderland. Now, you were telling us during the commercial break that 25,000 vehicles came through Winter Wonderland last year.
Yeah, last couple of years we've had over 25,000 vehicles, and we always kind of estimate you have your Saturday night date nights, or you have a family full of 5 or 6. So we estimate about 100,000 people see the lights.
That's like a little town.
It's a lot.
It is. Let's show the folks this later information. The East Peoria Festival of Lights Parade is taking place Saturday, November 19th. That's coming up at 5:45. Roads near the parade route will be closed at 5:30. And as Doug mentioned, really any vantage point in that area is good to check it out. For more information, www.philippi.org. Doug, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
And we'll be back in a moment.
All right, guys, taking a look at weather and traffic together. One closure to take note of this morning. We're looking at closures on I-74 in East Peoria, closures on eastbound and westbound I-74 at Pinecrest Drive. That would be exit 98 in East Peoria. It's going to be closed until November 18th. So that's Friday. They're doing work on it today, anywhere from 8:30 until 3:30. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast today, 75 degrees for the high, 62 tomorrow, and then down into the 40s for the weekend.
And still ahead, we will, of course, have much more on that deadly explosion in downtown Canton.
We'll speak live with our photojournalist, Dave Janssen, who is at the scene. That's coming up after the break.
Good morning. Temperatures are sitting warm this morning. We're already into the 50s, 52 degrees. We're going to be warming up into the 70s for highs today. Could see records fall this afternoon. We'll see highs about around 75 degrees.
Time to see what's trending this morning on social media, and you know what? Sadly, that explosion in Canton was trending on Twitter last night and still making the rounds on social media.
All eyes on Central Illinois this morning after Tuesday night's explosion in downtown Canton. In fact, Canton, one of the top 10 trending topics on Twitter.
And as we reported all morning, one person was killed in that explosion, 11 others injured. Ameren officials say they were called in after a contractor had compromised a gas service line around 5:30. They were making repairs to that line when the explosion occurred.
And we now head out live to our photojournalist, Dave Janssen, who joins us live from Canton. DJ, good morning.
Good morning, Gary and Gina. How are you doing this morning?
We're good. Now, we've been watching your incredible live video all morning long, and as daylight comes, we can see just how devastating this explosion was. What are you seeing up close and hearing from authorities this morning?
This is just absolutely amazing. I mean, this looks like something out of a movie. Debris is everywhere. I'm currently on First Avenue on the east side of the square, and I'm hearing from local officials that as of right now, the square is definitely closed. They're having a presser this morning around 9 a.m. and you can see the damage. I mean, it's gone everywhere. It's blown cars, windows. It's thrown 2x4s into the cars. I'm right here. This is Mel's Sporting Goods and Kaiser's Auto Service. But if you take a look at the street, I mean, there's debris just everywhere. I'm in a location where I've got to be careful walking because there's lots of nails. You can see the Ameren trucks are still parked in their exact locations as they were when the explosion took place. Like, authorities are telling people to stay away from this area because they have a job to do. They will have building inspectors go through the buildings, as you see right there, and they will make a determination as to whether or not those buildings need to come down or not. And these buildings have been here for quite some time, as you and I all know. So reporting from Canton, I'm News 4 journalist Dave Janssen. Garry, Gina, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, DJ, for that video, and we'll be checking back live with him at the bottom of the hour. We're going to head to a break. Still ahead on 25 News Today. A first-of-its-kind program starts in Pekin.
And we'll have a recap of day 2 of the November veto session in Springfield.
From WEEK, your home team. This is 25 News Today.
And good morning. Welcome to 25 News Today alongside Nick Jansen and Gina Morss. I'm Garry Moore. Of course, our top story is developing out of Canton. One person dead, 11 others injured after that gas explosion downtown. We just checked in with our photojournalist, Dave Janssen, who's giving us this live look. And you are looking at the downtown square, the east side of the square, where the blast took place. It happened around 5:45 yesterday evening.
That's right. Ameren officials saying that they were called in after a contractor had compromised a gas service line at East Side Square. That happened around 5:30. They were making repairs to that line when the explosion occurred. An Ameren worker was killed. His name has not yet been released.
And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of our fallen comrade, our fallen worker. The utility business is a close brotherhood, and our family is hurting right now. We express our deep sadness and our profound sympathies to the family.
Authorities tell News 25 7 people were treated and released from a Canton hospital. At last report, 3 others remain hospitalized. Their conditions are unknown. A 68-year-old man was taken by Lifeline to OSF St. Francis Medical Center in Peoria. At last report, he was listed in fair condition.
Now check out this security camera footage. This is from inside a store in downtown Canton. When the explosion took place, you can see glass blown out from those windows, businesses damaged. Streets around that 2-block radius of the explosion still shut down this morning and will be until further notice. Authorities encouraging residents to stay away from the area as this investigation continues. We spoke to people who were near the scene when the explosion happened.
Just a massive rumble and a big boom, and just everything come crashing down at one time.
It sounded like a big truck maybe hitting something is what I initially thought, but then when we came running around up to the front of the house, we seen all the smoke coming, and that's when we come running up here and seen everything everywhere.
We came outside and you could see the smoke back here, and there was all kinds of debris. Everybody was just kind of stopping in the middle of the road. It was pretty loud.
Ameren, Illinois reports at least 500 people lost power when the explosion happened, and they expect that power to be restored this morning. It is unclear how many residents are without natural gas at this hour. The Salvation Army in Canton is being used for shelter for those affected by the blast, and residents affected can also contact the Red Kettle Salvation Army hotline. You see the number there. And we should mention the Canton YWCA or YMCA is closed as a result of the explosion. Also, we would like to thank our viewers who sent us video and pictures from last night's explosion. All of these pictures can be found on our 25 News Facebook page and our website, cinewsnow.com. Again, to recap, an Ameren, Illinois worker is dead. 11 other people are injured after a natural gas explosion in downtown Canton yesterday evening. 7 of the injured were treated and released. 3 remain hospitalized. A 68-year-old man was taken by life flight to Peoria, where at last report he was listed in fair condition.
And those looking for shelter can head to the Salvation Army on South 1st Avenue in Canton. We want to give you this footnote to an officer telling 25 News this morning that structural surveys are taking place around the square, and they are alluding to the potential fact that some of those buildings may have to come down as a result of the explosion.
And authorities are asking the public to stay away from the area as the investigation into the blast continues, and we'll have updates throughout the morning and on our Facebook pages and also cinewsnow.com. Our weather today?
Weather today looking very warm. We see the sunrise temperatures right now sitting in the 50s, so 52 degrees here in Peoria, 48 in Bloomington. We're warming up all the way into the 70s today. Could see the 40s though this weekend. I'll have those details later.
Nick, thanks. Other news making headlines this morning, our continuing coverage of the state budget discussions in Springfield. Despite not making any real progress over the last couple of days, lawmakers say they are very aware of what might happen if a budget is not passed. Governor Bruce Rauner's budget director estimates that Illinois will be $7 billion in debt by June 30th. That's if a budget is not passed. The director also estimates that Illinois will have $13 billion worth of unpaid bills by then. If nothing is done, that stack of unpaid bills could reach $47 billion by fiscal year 2022. Illinois has not had a budget approved in 18 months. The stopgap funding measure ends at the end of this year, and it's depleted many reserves. Now, since they haven't passed a budget in Springfield, the state Senate is trying to get some other work accomplished during this first 2 days of the veto session. Lawmakers voted Tuesday to override the governor's veto of a bill that would raise the pay for home care workers. If the state house agrees, workers who help disabled residents stay in their homes will get a $2 an hour raise. The governor had cited costs as his reason for the original veto. The Senate also has rejected the governor's veto of an automatic voter registration. It would allow visitors to some state agencies to be automatically registered to vote unless they opt out. Governor Rauner vetoed it in August, saying the plan does not meet federal requirements about a person's participation in the registration process. He added the process puts too much of a burden on the State Board of Elections. And the State House will consider both bills when it returns to session just before the end of this month. A new first-of-its-kind program has started in Pekin. Medical cannabis outreach, along with several physicians, opened the area's first medical cannabis pain management and wellness clinic. The cannabis therapy program's goal is to get patients to have an ongoing relationship with physicians who will monitor and talk to them about their medical cannabis use and other prescription medications. This facility does not dispense medical cannabis.
There's one other service that does anywhere even close to what we're doing, and they're not doing it to the level that we do it, and they sit in downtown Chicago.
The clinic will have 2 to 3 physicians and a few nurses in the program who will work directly with patients.
Now to a couple of stories we are following up on. The arraignment of former Congressman Aaron Schock has been rescheduled. A federal judge granted a request by Schock's attorneys Tuesday, moving the date back to December 12th. Schock is scheduled to leave the country next week. His arraignment was scheduled to take place November 22nd. Aaron Schock was indicted on accusations of trying to defraud the government. The charges, which took place last Thursday, include 9 counts of wire fraud and 6 counts of filing false federal income tax returns. A Peoria County judge has set a December hearing date for Cleve Heidelberg, convicted of murder, now seeking an overturn of his conviction. According to the Journal-Star, a judge set a hearing on the Heidelberg case for December 29th. That is a week earlier than initially planned. The 78-year-old Heidelberg was found guilty of murdering Peoria County Sheriff Sergeant Ray Espinoza back in 1970. Heidelberg, who is acting as his own attorney, is pushing for a new trial after his former attorney said new evidence was discovered and there was a confession from another man. The judge in the case removed Peoria County State's Attorney Jerry Brady from that case for alleged bias, but the state has since appealed.
Coming up on 25 News Today, a preview of tonight's special report from Garry on the recent 24 Wall Street study.
And we'll look back at the events 3 years ago today, the tornado in Washington.
A live look outdoors right now on a very calm fall morning. Above normal temperatures, maybe even record-breaking. Nick's details for your forecast and drive coming up.
You're watching 25 News Today with Garry Moore, Gina Morss, and meteorologist Nick Jansen. 25 News is your home team.
Well, welcome back in. Good morning. Temperatures today going to be slightly warm. We'll be well above average today with temperatures reaching the middle 70s. We see mostly sunny skies early on this morning with the sunrise coming up here. Traffic starting to pick up on I-74. So nice conditions today. Temperatures are very warm as you're walking out the door as well. 52 degrees to start off this Thursday morning. 48 in Bloomington, normal 53 in Lakin early on this morning. Futurecast, we're going to breeze through it. Not much to see today anyways. Sunny skies in the forecast and with very warm temperatures. So we're looking at a very strong southerly wind. Actually could see some winds gusting up to around 30 miles per hour today. So very breezy conditions. And then we'll see some cloud cover start to sneak in and some chances for some scattered showers. This is early tomorrow morning. Very light showers. Now, Futurecast has these rain showers are really not affecting much of our area. Starting to develop the farther east we go here, at least staying east of I-39 is what Futurecast is suggesting, and staying down to our southeast during much of the afternoon. Futurecast has us staying mainly dry tomorrow, and then really thunderstorms start to intensify as they head towards Indiana. So Futurecast is one of the models that's suggesting we stay dry. Other models have these showers and thunderstorms starting to develop right along the state boundary of Illinois and Iowa, and then sliding across our area tomorrow afternoon. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated as we get more model runs. Now, we might be dealing with some thunderstorms tomorrow. Other areas in the upper Midwest dealing with quite a bit of snowfall potentially. To this week is a winter weather preparedness week, and we want to make sure you're prepared heading into the winter months of how to stay safe anyways. And we're looking at a very chilly conditions, at least something we haven't been used to coming up this weekend. So what to wear during the winter? Light to loose and warm clothing. Layers are key to that. And then make sure to cover the skin as much as possible, especially when wind chills get below 0 and nearing a -10 to -20. Frostbite can actually occur within 5 to 10 minutes. And then try to stay dry as much as possible when outside. Water resistant, so jackets, sweatshirts, gloves, mittens, make sure they're water resistant. Some of the warnings of frostbite, we look at cold skin, white and red and yellow skin, and then numbness. Now, hypothermia, another major concern during the winter months. If you do see some of those warning signs, make sure to warm a person up slowly. Don't warm them up too quickly. That can be very dangerous as well. So the upper Midwest dealing with some wintry type conditions. Already a blizzard warning issued for the western portion of Minnesota, the eastern portion of South Dakota. So that does include Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Then we're looking at a blizzard watch just north of that, and then a winter storm warning you see there in pink. Now, we're not dealing with the wintry type conditions, but this setup could bring some rainfall and some scattered showers. Now, we've kind of shifted the rain chances over farther to the east now. Looks like the main chances with the latest model runs for at least some maybe strong thunderstorms should be off to our east in central Indiana tomorrow, with where this low pressure system is going to end up sitting up with that cold front draping down. We'll continue to monitor that situation throughout the day today and into tomorrow morning. Temperatures today, don't have to worry about any rain. We're looking at 75 degrees, gusty conditions right around 30 miles per hour. Tonight, dropping down into the middle to lower 50s for overnight lows, staying in the 50s again. Tomorrow, 62, so warm again tomorrow, not as warm as today. Those chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms in this weekend. We're really dropping things off. That cold front slides through, and we're looking at temperatures right around 43 degrees by Saturday.
Thanks, Nick. It's about 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 on a Thursday. Now with a look at what's coming up on the Today Show.
Here's NBC's Matt Lauer.
Coming up on a Thursday here on Today, we'll tell you about Hillary Clinton's emotional speech, her first public appearance since conceding the election. And Laura Ingraham, whose name has been floated as Donald Trump's potential press secretary, will join us live. Also ahead, the largest jump in highway fatalities in this country in half a century. Could popular driving apps be to blame? Then Oscar winner Marion Cotillard stops by to talk about her new movie co-starring Brad Pitt. And Al's next turkey trot surprise, we'll find out where his bus has taken him this time when we see you here on a Thursday morning on Today.
Welcome back. We'll get back to that explosion in Canton in just a moment. It's about 6:49, 11 minutes to the top of the hour. And in a 25 News special report this evening, we'll talk about that recent 24/7 Wall Street study on black life in Peoria. That study has prompted a series of meetings and calls to action and local analysis. The study ranked Peoria as the worst place in the country for African Americans to live. It looked at census data that took into account poverty, unemployment, access to education, and incarceration. Community leaders say decades of discrimination and questionable policies have contributed to the problem.
Was a time that a single person could not get an apartment in the housing until they were 18 years old, and they could not have a man in the household. So if that father wanted to be with his family, that was not allowed. So now, in essence, what that has done is broken up that family.
Tonight on 25 News at 10, we'll have a special report on the 24/7 Wall Street study and why city leaders say the numbers don't tell the whole story. United Airlines is shaking things up by introducing what it calls the basic economy class. What's that? Well, the positive news is if you fly basic economy, you pay less for your ticket. The negative news is that if you have a carry-on bag to be stowed overhead, you'll have to pay extra. You will also have to check your luggage and bring one small item like a laptop or a standard backpack that fits under the seat. Families could be separated because they would be assigned a seat the day of the flight and be in the last boarding group.
You know, I don't know that I would do that for any of my business travel, which is what I do most of the time, especially coming here. But if I was going on vacation with the family and we were going to be checking a bunch of bags anyway, then yeah, that might be a good option.
I actually don't know if I would be that interested in it. I usually try and carry everything with me, just because then you avoid waiting at baggage claim, you avoid lost baggage, delays, and things like that. So I try and check, or carry on everything.
Basic economy fares will be available to buy in January.
Students at Richwoods High School will soon be able to earn money while in school. A new pilot project known as AppsCo was unveiled Tuesday by Peoria Public Schools Superintendent Sharon Carrot. The project will take place as an extracurricular activity built off the school's Junior Achievement Program. It would allow students to earn skills in entrepreneurship, sales, and leadership. Peoria Mayor Jim Ardis Also present at the unveiling and had some words of encouragement for the students.
But we want you all to be the leaders. We want you all to learn about what the 21st century job market is.
It's an opportunity to not only motivate, but also empower and impassion the young people to pursue their dreams.
The AppsCo model will help small businesses advertise through the smartphone app, set for launch in March.
Time now to see what's trending on social media.
Today is the 3rd anniversary of the deadly Washington, East Peoria, and Pekin tornadoes. We around here remember it well. The storm began in Pekin as an EF2 around 11 that Sunday morning. It then went into East Peoria, narrowly missing our station before growing into an EF4 tornado in Washington. 3 deaths are blamed on that storm, which caused millions of dollars in damage. Now, Nick, you were still up in the Rockford area at the time. That tornado, though, made national headlines, certainly, and it was unusual, right, because of the time of the year that it took place.
I was still in school at that time. Just actually started one of my first meteorology classes that year, and I actually remember we were forecasting for this event about a week out. So the good news is, and it shows how much we've advanced on the meteorology side, is we're able to really forecast these types of events far out in advance. And now with this, we needed 3 main ingredients. So your first main ingredients, you need warm and unstable air. That's what we had that day. We had temperatures across central Illinois into the middle 70s. We had dew points into the middle 60s. So very warm, very unstable. We then need wind shear. So wind shear is the change in wind, at least the change in direction with wind regards to height. So that's where you get the rotation within those storms. The third thing you need is a lifting mechanism. We had that day with a cold front sliding through. That brought very cold air behind that cold front. And let's take a look at the track of this storm that it took through Washington. So that EF4 tornado, we saw wind speeds right around 190 miles per hour. Now the path was right along 46 miles long. The width of the tornado about a half a mile. There was 3 fatalities and then injuries right around 125 injuries. The duration of this right around 45 minutes long. So the tornado was on the ground for quite a while during this. And again, Gina, you said earlier that it is a little unordinary to see thunderstorms and at least tornadoes, supercells in November. The thing is, we can always see at least any types of storms like this at any point in time during the year. That's why we always stress to make sure to be ready and be prepared and always have a weather radio handy, at least, especially in your household.
All right.
All right.
Some good advice. And we'll be back in a moment.
Good morning and welcome back. Time to take a look at your weather and traffic together. We're taking a look at I-74 and Pinecrest. Closures on eastbound and westbound I-74 right here near Pinecrest, exit 98. That's going to be scheduled until Friday. We're looking at lane closures being affected from 8:30 until 3:30 p.m. Temperatures today going to be on the warm side, 75 degrees today, then dropping into the 40s as we head into the weekend.
Of course, our top story is the developing situation in Canton. 1 person is dead. An Ameren, Illinois worker killed, 11 people injured after a gas explosion in downtown Canton. We have been having a live look all morning from our photojournalist Dave Janssen in the downtown Canton Square where the blast took place. It happened around 5:45 along First Street. Ameren officials say they were called after a contractor compromised a gas service line at 45 East Square around 5:30. Ameren was making repairs to that line when the explosion occurred. An Ameren worker was killed.
His name has not been released. Meanwhile, the YWCA in Canton is closed. That's near the Canton Square, and businesses along the square are closed until further notice. This is video sent to us by some of our viewers, and we thank our viewers who sent us video and pictures. You can see the windows being blown out of surrounding businesses. Mitch Williams, the magician who visits us every month, who also lives in Canton, telling us this morning he lives about a half a mile away and it felt like something hit his home. So that's a half mile away. We've also heard other reports from people as far away in Trevoli that felt the impact of that blast. Now, authorities encouraging folks to stay away from the area today as they continue the investigation. Again, businesses in that area will remain closed. The Salvation assisting residents in that area.
Thank you for joining us. We will, of course, have a local news update for you at 7:25.
The Today Show is next.
Have a good day.